David Tozer. I'm a program manager with Innovate UK. I work within the automotive team. And what I want to do is just spend 10 minutes talking about some of the competitions that we've put out in this financial year and those which are likely to come next year, and very much where the automotive electronics sector can help us realise what we want to achieve in terms of our goals and aspirations in respect to low emission vehicles, connecting autonomous vehicles, and of course the interaction with the grid. Before I get onto that, a little bit about Innovate UK. For those of you who don't know, I appreciate that a lot of you are probably very familiar with us, but we are the UK's innovation agency. We're primarily funded by BEIS as well as other government departments, and our aim is to drive growth. And we do that by supporting, enabling and de-risking innovation across our 4 focus areas, which includes enabling and emerging technologies, health and life sciences, infrastructure systems, and for where automotive sits, manufacturing and materials. We work in a very unique position and with a great set of stakeholders which cover academia, businesses, and of course government. And we think we're very successful and we're very good at it. Since 2007, we've positioned £1.8 billion worth of investment into numerous innovative projects that involved over 8,000 companies. That's subsequently translated into a net benefit of £11.8 billion to the UK economy, as well as 60,000 jobs. And we very much hope and fully expect that to continue well into the future. So in respect to automotive, very much why we're here today, we've had a very busy 2017, and along with colleagues from the Advanced Propulsion Centre, we've managed to position over £250 million worth of activity in the automotive space. Now that covers everything from low emission freight transport to connecting autonomous vehicles, Faraday Challenge, which is all in respect to the development and capability of battery technologies and making the UK a centre of excellence. IDP, which is the area that I actually look after, that's all around low emission, ultra low emission vehicles. And as I've already mentioned, the APC do an absolutely critical and work tirelessly to take technologies that are near to market. So looking more in depth into 2 particular areas, the first of which is connected and autonomous vehicles, or CAV. The government has very much set out the position they want the UK to be a centre of excellence for the development and testing of CAV technologies, and we feel that we're in a fantastic position to do this. In terms of the environment to which CAV can be developed, absolutely brilliant. World-leading industry and testing ecosystem. In regards to testing, 100 million has been made available for particular areas in the UK, so people can actually undertake on-vehicle, on-road demonstrations of CAV technologies. They can plug and play. They can use the likes of the transport capital to go and try and test their particular innovations. We also are a country in which CAVs can be deployed right now. We have a mechanism which on the road CAV deployments can happen pretty seamlessly without the need for often restrictive permits or other barriers. Research, very much where Innovate UK comes in. We position significant projects in the CAV space. We're now on CAV3, which is Connected Autonomous Vehicles Competition 3, and the closing date for that is this month. I think it's in a couple of weeks. The first 2 competitions, hugely successful, a massive variety of projects and organisations involved in those. We're extremely excited to see what comes out of those. Really, really fantastic work. And lastly, we believe that the UK is absolutely a centre for the safe and secure development of CAV technologies, both for the B2B and also the B2C. Absolutely critical. Now, what does all this sort of evolve into for Innovate UK? It's very much the competitions. And here's an example of the successful applicants to our CAV1 competition. And what this is really demonstrating is that there is a huge amount of interest in this particular area from a whole multitude of different organisations, whether that's OEMs within the automotive space or those that are nothing to do with it. SMEs, right up to the traditional companies that you would expect to see on the board. And we believe that within CAV2 and more recently CAV3, that list is going to grow absolutely. So a huge area. But in order for us to meet and deliver full autonomy, which is what we're working to, we absolutely need the likes of you in the room to push forward the innovation within the industry, to come and talk to us about your ideas and how Innovate can support you to bring them to fruition. And we want to see that happen as much as we possibly can. The second area, just to touch on very briefly, low-carbon vehicles. Very much a topic of 2017. Two dates stick in my mind. 2040, the sale of diesel and petrol cars and vans will cease, and by 2050, for all vehicles to be zero emission. Now that is quite something to work towards as an industry, but there are policy drivers which are very much aligned to making this happen, including inward investment and around the economy. 1.73 million cars produced in 2016, a rise of 8% on 2015. We want to at least maintain that, but wherever possible, grow that and grow it significantly. The adoption and increase in zero-emission vehicles is one way in which we can do that. And the supply chain associated with that within the UK is absolutely critical. So if we can support that, brilliant. Carbon, we do have carbon obligations, which zero-emission cars can definitely help us achieve. Air quality, we all know about NOx, and it does have an impact both on the environment and public health, but also the economy. So important that zero-emission vehicles are helping to tackle that. And lastly, energy security. The energy market or the energy sector of tomorrow will definitely not be what it is today and of the last 20 years. But from a vehicle's perspective, it's how the vehicles integrate with that energy grid. It's making sure that what they take out, they can still have an opportunity to give back, which is why we're active in that area as well. I'm very happy to say that in respect to the delivery of low carbon or zero emission vehicles, we have our long-standing IDP competition. This is actually the area that I look after. IDP 14, as the name suggests, is the 14th iteration in the IDP series, was made live last week, and closes on the 13th of December. Now we are specifically looking, using that £20 million pot of funding, to secure vehicles of all dimensions, so that's from your motorbikes to your buses to pickup trucks to HGVs, that are zero emission or towards zero emission. Now the technology areas which are needed to enable that to happen very much include, without question, electric machines and power electronics. So for those of you who haven't seen IDP, please do take a look. There are consortiums that are looking for the skills and capabilities that some of you have in the room, and I would absolutely implore you to be involved if you're able to. One thing that I do want to say in regard to automotive electronics is there is a common thread among all of the opportunities and all the competitions that we run, whether that's CAV, whether that's vehicle to grid, or whether that's IDP. So we need you as much as hopefully you need us to bring your project ideas, your concepts, your business models, your innovations to market or towards market. And we're there to help you support. We're here to support you to do that. In terms of what we're likely to see in 2018, I'm not able to absolutely guarantee that these are the areas that we'll be delivering or have competitions in, but looking at past projects and what we've done this year, and the fact that we like consistency because it gives the market clear sight on what we're likely to support, would be surprised if there's not additional competitions in respect to the delivery of low emission vehicles. I would be very surprised if the 246 million announcement around making the UK a centre of excellence for battery technology will not translate into a competition next year. Connected and autonomous vehicles, we've heard a huge amount this morning. There are challenges, but there are huge amounts of opportunities. We're very, very vested in delivering those opportunities and working with the likes of CCAV. So again, a competition, a CAV 4, 5 is likely. And lastly, the infrastructure. Where do these vehicles operate on a day-to-day basis? And make sure that that infrastructure is suitable, the environment is going to be able to work with the vehicles that we're likely to see in the future. Again, we are probably going to do something around integrating infrastructure and vehicles bringing those two sectors that don't always work together closer together to enable things to happen. I won't dwell on the Automotive Council roadmaps because Dave did a fantastic job, but they are very useful for seeing what could be in scope of some of our competitions moving forward. Because they look towards 2040, we are looking at technologies which might be there in the next sort of 5, 10, 15 years and beyond. That is all from me. As I said, do come and talk to me if you have any project ideas, and there may be some funding available. Thank you very much.